Hi.
Three of you.
How's everybody doing today? Good. So last year when we came here to Social Innovation Summit, we talked about doing a project. We weren't sure how it was going to work. We weren't sure what the outcomes were, but we really previewed that project here with you all. And we came to give you an update. So here goes.
A different kind of vending machine, one that doesn't dispense food, but gives kids in need something. A different kind of vending machine, one that doesn't dispense food, but gives kids in need something else to devour. Books. David Wright has more in the program, encouraging reading just by the press of a button.
There was a door.
7-year-old Ayanna George loves to read.
Looks like you just started that one, huh?
I'm on chapter 5.
Chapter 5.
But in her neighborhood in southeast Washington, D.C., finding books is not so easy. A recent study found that here, there's just one age-appropriate book for sale for every 830 kids. Nevertheless, Ayanna has managed to amass quite the collection.
Now tell me, where'd you get this book?
I got it from the vending machine.
Books literally falling into the hands of children.
You need it?
You want to read it?
Part of JetBlue's Soar with Reading initiative.
So it's like getting a candy bar?
Yes.
But instead you're getting a book. How do you pay for it?
You don't pay for it.
You don't pay for it? It's
No.
free?
Yes.
The book vending machines arrived here in July. 3 machines at 3 different locations in Anacostia. Washington Redskins quarterback Robert Griffin III there to help see the community into this new chapter.
Nice pictures.
So why is the vending machine any better than the library?
Because with the library, you have to bring it back.
And here you get to keep the book.
Yes.
Literacy experts say owning the books can inspire children to read more.
Gives her a chance to start having her own collection of books.
She's got quite the little library going.
Oh my goodness, are the doggies eating the food?
At this local church,
we're reading books that are in the vending machine, so now they can take that book home and they can keep reading it over and over and over again. It's just wonderful.
while the vending machines are temporary, JetBlue hopes their experiment will inspire local businesses to start selling more kids' books.
I know that we're making an impact here in the community.
A neighborhood turning the page, inspiring a new generation of urban scholars. For Good Morning America, David Wright, ABC News, Washington.
He did a great job of bringing that to light, and the program has given out 16,000 books in that community with a commitment to give out 84,000 more. The books shift every 2 weeks. JetBlue is now in the process of picking the next community for its vending machines.
It sparks others to come in and do the same thing.
It seems like such a no-brainer. And when you see little girls like that who they have this book, and we've all been exposed to reading at a little age, but you just can't take it for granted.
And it does make a difference to have your own book.
To own it.
It really does. So again, our many thanks.
So like I said, we didn't know how the program was going to turn out. We were really honest when we came here last year, and we let you know that we would come back and let you know what happened after our book vending machines were placed in Washington, D.C. So I brought back Girl Power, and we're going to talk a little bit about what happened last year and how it affected the community. So we're going to start with Susan, who is our educational expert. We fly planes really well. We don't profess to be educational experts, but our customers and crew members care about this topic. That's why it's important to us, and we've engaged Susan to help us make sure that we stay on track, stay on message, and make sure that we have really measurable outcomes. Susan?
So just a little bit of a recap. We did a study originally a couple of years ago where we found that there was what we said a book desert in Anacostia, DC. And this is particularly important because it's over the summer, and all of you are aware of what we call the summer slide, which is the precipitous decline in children's scores when there's few resources in the community. And so one of the things that we did is we examined the differences between the area in which the vending machine was situated compared to what we call a counterfactual. Same area, same population, although they did not have a vending machine nearby. And what we found was really extraordinary differences. And I look especially to you when we say that. We found that, number one, 27,000 books were used. And what this does is this suggests just how important these vending machines actually are for this population. That parents became more aware of children's literature and children's book titles. They read more to their children, and they established book libraries, all compared to the counterfactual where this did not happen. So one of the things that we say is this counteracts the common ideology, or sometimes what people say, blaming the families. We know, for example, that when resources are available, parents will use them.
That's right. And so we went into the community. We wanted to be thoughtful on how we went into the community. We didn't profess to be saving a community. We wanted to be part of the community. We have crew members who live in the community. How do we approach this? And we met with organizations, and we met with different schools, we met with churches, and we found a gem in our personal First Lady, Shelley Hudson, who is the First Lady of St. Matthew's Church. And when I tell you that we have a lot of lessons learned, but one of the things that we learned from the church is find a partner who cares as much as you do. And when you walked into the church, there was Windex and paper towels always available because the vending machine was perfectly stocked. It was always clean. There weren't a lot of fingerprints on it. They really took care of the church. So can you tell us a little bit about what that experience was for you?
Yes, thank you. So for us, when we had the partnership with JetBlue, and we informed the congregation, as well as we have a child development center, that the vending machines were coming, everyone was so excited. And then when the vending machine arrived, we couldn't use it like a day or two, but everyone kept asking, when can we use it? When can we use it? So once we were able to use it, the community just came in. We're a church that's open every day, like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So people were always coming in using the vending machines. And even during, on Sundays, I found it interesting, between services, there would be lines for people trying to getting the books out of the vending machines. And also what I want to say about the partnership with JetBlue is that they didn't just drop the books off and then leave us. They were really partners. They stayed, they were with us every step of the way, and that was phenomenal. And the children just loved it. The teachers loved it in the Child Development Center, because the teachers would get the books also. So then as they're reading to the children, because the children had the books as well, they were more engaged during.
So Shelley, one of the things that we saw is we often saw that parents would take bundles of books, and the child care teachers would take bundles of books. And one of the parents actually said to me, "This is such a gift. This is such a wonderful thing to have in our community." Did you find some of that as well?
I did. Part of that is that, you know, the parents are working so much and just trying to keep ends meet. But when they're coming to the Child Development Center, or even in the church, they don't have to make an extra stop to try to get the resources that they need. It was where they were.
Right. So we found lots of repeaters, which was very interesting, and that gives you another bit of evidence that these were very powerful. So parents would come, they would then say, "Hey, I want another book," and they would come back often.
Oh, absolutely. They were aware that the books were rotating every 2 weeks, so they were coming back so that they could make sure that they could get all of the different titles that were available to them.
Yeah, that was so special. And the other thing I appreciated, I just wanted to highlight, is many of the titles were multicultural titles. In other words, they were appropriate for children not only at all age and grade levels, but they really were appropriate to multiple populations, and that's really important.
It was important to us as well. We understood the community and we wanted to make sure that the books were reflective of that, which is not always an easy task. We really put forth an effort to make sure that people could see books that represented what they look like. That's what's important to children, that's what's important to teenagers, and we wanted to capture that in the titles of the books. And sometimes you have diverse characters in a book, but if you don't see it on the title, you might not know that if you don't see it on the cover. So we wanted to make sure that that was actually the case. And the other thing that I think from a corporate standpoint that happened that we didn't realize was going to happen was the involvement with our crew members. Our DC-based crew members absolutely loved this program. And we have one crew member, Dawn, who adopted the program, was there all the time. We had reading hours at the different locations. But Dawn used to taunt her friends and send, when she would tweet, and she would say, hashtag, my job is better than yours. So she was really enjoying the program, but it just kind of shows how you can galvanize a group of people who might not have had an interest to get behind and rally behind your initiatives. And our crew members really did get behind this initiative. Not only that, but then they started to talk about where we were going next. And that was part of what we decided to do. How do our customers get involved? Because as a business, you want people to be able to engage with you. And so how do your customers get involved? And we had what was called a book battle. And our customers were able to select where our next book donation was going. And so the book donation through the vending machine was over 27,000 books, but we left 100,000 books in the area. And we had our customers vote on where the next book battle was going to be. And Detroit won. So we are going to Detroit, Michigan. We will be bringing 5 vending machines there. We're going to do another 100,000 books. We're going to replicate the success that we had there last year in making sure that we're in the community. We're going to make sure that we are visiting the vending machine locations, but we're also going to make sure that we continue to do studies to make sure that we're having impact. Because giving out a book is great, but if it's not making an impact on the community, then we're really just wasting our time. So Susan, you want to talk a little bit about how we're going to do measurable studies this year?
Sure. This year we're going to do a very ambitious study. We're not only looking at parent outcomes, this is what the effort was this particular year, but upcoming year is we're looking at child outcomes. So we know that children need vocabulary and comprehension skills very early on. In other words, if they come to school prepared for school readiness skills, we know that they're going to be ultimately successful. And we know these children are so incredibly capable, don't we?
Absolutely.
So one of the things that we're doing is looking at, can we stall the summer slide? And even better than that, can we improve children's outcomes? And we know that books are the most powerful source of early literacy activities that we have. And so we'll be looking at some of those measures this year.
So we're excited about going to Detroit. We're excited about Sworth Reading 2.0. We're excited about the wonderful reception we received from you all last year. And Zeev, maybe we'll have to come back next year and let people know what happens. So wish us luck. We're off to Detroit. Thank you so much.
Thank you.